Most of this should just be this one section, because I did everything else. I'm gonna be rereading dialogue just for the sake of it. Mr. Hanekoma. I wonder what he's up to out here. I think I'll follow him. This could be a chance to learn more about him, about Cat. So, in the meantime, I cleared out Pork City, and this place seems familiar, with a weird spacing on the familiar. Did he go upstairs? So I got, I think, all the pins that I need. We can look at my progression and how we're looking at that. Yeah, I have 99% of the pins, 98.9% of all the noise. This should be the last one that I'm fighting on the top 4. 97.9% of item collection. That one I might have to look into a bit more. But, overall, I went back and I got any doubles of pins that I needed doubles for buying things. I don't think I have any different gear on. I can take a look real fast. Yeah, this is all the same. I don't think I really need anything in the last slot there. This should be fine. In terms of items, what are we looking at? Let's go ahead and put on Beat since I am, well, probably put on, yeah, there we go. He's getting his bravery up there, but I doubt I'll get him to 999, I believe is what he needed for his feather. Yeah, we'll put some defense food on you, but not that I'll actually end up eating it by the time. Defense medicine? Yeah, there we go. Didn't I have something better? HP, bravery, attack, HP. I have one good defense one. That'll work. That's good. And he's still working on the cordyceps, which I think is so funny. Cordyceps is the, at the very least, the cordyceps parasite is the one that is well known for attaching to ants. So I was a little concerned whenever I saw him. I can go straight up to 13th floor, but I'm worried I'll miss dialogue in that case. I think it's funny that Josh was just eating it, just like having a good time. It doesn't work on humans. I'm sure it has medical benefits, but as somebody who didn't know that beforehand, I was very concerned for him. Wonder what Mr. Hanekoma's doing here. It's kind of a mystery. He's got his incognito life as Cat. Then there's that quirky cafe. I swear it's closed more than it's open. Actually, wow, I don't really know anything about him, especially considering how long we've been acquainted. Just to get the dialogue. I can always skip this dialogue. I've already got. They each give you a food item, but that doesn't really matter to me. I'm just here for the dialogue and the fight. What difficulty level am I playing on? Hard? I think I'm gonna. I think I'll set it down to normal to. Well. Go ahead and be at level 50. Yeah, that should be fine. On hard. If not, we can always back out like big cowards. We're going to be going up to the 13th floor. This is the way we have to go. And yeah, I don't remember. I may have made it up to like the 7th floor before. I'm like, wait, how many floors are there here? I was very sad. But did it off. Oh, well. Of course. That's a good one. I'm sure I've already read that dialogue. It's probably just... Yeah, it looks like it was just exposition about his relationship with Hanekoma. Sorry. I got too greedy. Let's see. I don't have a whole lot to talk about in this beginning part. I didn't really change up anybody's equipment. I didn't really change up my gear. Just sort of was doing as I was doing. I grinded. Oh, what I did do. This is something I can actually talk about after this dialogue. Seems like he's been really busy lately. Shop's been closed a lot too, even more than usual. Wonder if he's got something else going on top of his work as cat. Like, something I could help with. If I've got what it takes. I just wish I could help lighten his load. Oh yeah, so what I did do was I grinded up enough, dark matter and I think Tektite to, get everybody's... I'll show them in a second here. What I did was I grinded enough to get max defense and attack boosts for everybody. So we have attack and defense boosts of 9 for everybody. I don't think I bought anything else that was special. I just bought any equipment that I was missing aside from the one thing I need. But I need the drop from this final noise. I got level 1 entries for most of the noise. There are a few I don't, but that's fine. They'll be easy to do later. And then here are the big noises, if you wanted to take a look at their stats and their descriptions. Here they are now. They all have 100% drop rates since you only encountered their final version once. And most of them have the lowest level as 0, but there is one, I think, that is the lowest level is 1, and I'm not quite sure why. The pig one, oh no, maybe I'm wrong, there isn't one that, oh, there's the one that's level 1, I'm really not sure why. But, this one was supposed to be the, no, this is the one that actually has attack power. So all the other ones don't actually attack you, really. But, this one does, but I was too high level, and I beat it, and I'm sorry, so. You guys didn't miss out on anything that I didn't miss out on, I guess. But other than that, I think we're just missing that one noise. There at the end, 96. Alright, let us continue now that I've wasted enough time. I'm glad I could re-trigger the dialogue. I was a little worried about that, but I thought I remembered that I did when I was going to a clock tower. A lot of it's just, some nothing internal monologue anyways. Why am I going nuts chasing him down like this? I don't even really know. I'm worried. Worried that if I don't, he'll disappear on me. Couldn't handle that again. Thinking back on it now, it was him. He's the reason I met Mr. H. I wouldn't have found the mural in Utagawa if he hadn't told me about it. It was my one real friend. The only guy in my class I could talk to as an equal. I was just fine with that. Just him and me. Man, I miss him. Not that I have a right to. Not after I killed him. Interesting little development for this alternative world. And this should be the last one. Alright. Up to the 13th floor. I'll never forget that day. We were set up to meet at the usual spot. I asked him to come. I was waiting in front of the camp mural, but he never came. Only later did I hear about the accident. I was so mad, then I felt awful. I shouldn't have asked him there. If not for me, he'd still be here. It's like I killed him. Now I feel like it's going to happen again. Like I'm going to lose Mr. Hanekoma. I don't think I could take it. It almost broke me last time. If it happened again, No. I need to keep him here. Do what I can to help him, so he won't go away. There's gotta be something. Let's talk to this boy. Yeah, and I've already gone through here. So, only way to go is to the roof. Mr. Hanekoma, what are you doing up here? Hey, phones. Phones? What's that? Alright, sorry, wrong you. Are you okay, Mr. Hanekoma? And what are you doing all the way up here? Just a little errand. I'm here to pick somebody up, but I wanted to check something while I was here. Check what? Oh boy, I knew it. Visible in this world too, clear as day. This calls for serious action. Look, Mr. H, I want to help you. I want to pay you back for all you've done for me. Well, gee, Phones. You just seem so busy lately. I mean, I know I probably can't do much, but let me do what I can. Thanks. That's real decent of you to offer, Phones. I'll take you up on that. Really? I'm happy to work the cafe or clean up or whatever. I've had my eye on you for a while now. With the other yous in the middle of a game. Excuse me? And even though you're right there in the UG, can't exactly interfere, even if it's just to test you a bit. Mr. Hanekoma, what's gotten into you? This you is a fair game. Let's have a look at what you can do. Oh god, I'm gonna be shaking my phone, I'm sorry. Oh, whoa! 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 Any chance easy will be easier? I did not anticipate this.
You're good as gone.
I'm getting a little bit of something. Not really going to be using him much outside of this. Should have brought him beat, but that's fine. If I really need to, I'll exit out, but I think I should be able to do this pretty well.
Follow my lead. Screw that.
Oh god. Oops. I'm very happy I chose to be at level 50. Goodness gracious. Yeah, you're gonna hear a bit of shaking. I'm sorry for the audio quality, but that's the way this is gonna work out.
How's my How's my aim?
There we go. That was kind of terrifying.
That was a nice distraction.
Charge the PP for... That isn't terrible. Very nice, Phones. Mr. Hanekoma, why are you attacked? You said you wanted to help me? Yeah, that may come sooner than either of us expect. What? Later, kiddo. Wait! Please, wait! What on earth? Was that really even him? Dare I help Mr. Hanekoma? What does he want me to do? And now I got my phones. Yeah, and this just puts me right back at the beginning here. I'm gonna check out those new... Here we go. Achievement unlocked. UG Wildlife buff. Well, you're strong, man. So that was probably for, yeah, I'll take a look real fast. Do I have a trophy thing on here? I guess it's not quite here. That's fine though. Oh no, I think it is in trophies. I hope this doesn't destroy. There's my notice report. Defeat Panthera Cantus and complete the noise report. Nice. Alright, so first things first, let's look at my phones. I assume that's a accessory. My phones, HP. Oh, I wonder if the ability I get from Hanekoma. 500. 20 versus 40. This gives me a... I'll hold off on that one. That's a lot of attack and defense. Yeah. I can give this to someone else. Oh wait, is this... Oh, it's an accessory, so I can... Oh! Oh my gosh, I can stack these two? Well, that's certainly nice. Lasting Fusion versus... What's your accessory? Sync Charge? Ooh. I don't know. We'll stick with this for now. Biker Gloves were what? 25 and 5. PC Faster Sync. What about your accessory? Oh, okay. Faster Sync versus Sync Charge. Oh, and that's when I wear that? Oh, when I'm partner wears that. I think we can safely put that on beat since I'm more likely to use him most of the time. That's fine though. Okay, and for now this is good for me. Did I even get a drop from that? No, I didn't. That's interesting. Oh, easy's only. I see. Interesting. Alright, so, does it count as getting everything for the day? It did. Okay. So, what we're gonna do now, because I can get the extra drop stuff in my own time, that's fine. But in the meantime, I think it is time for us to read all of the entries. There we go. So prepare for me reading for the next hour or so. These secret reports, they're lengthy boys. As is common knowledge, all games in the UG take place under our supervision, which we're not going to learn who those are until later. However, this particular game is saddled with a nigh unbelievable set of extenuating circumstances catching the attention of the higher plane. Thus, I shall be taking a more hands-on role this time as detailed in the report. The core differences in this game are as follows. 1. Its role in plans for Shibuya's destruction. 2. The composer's absence from the UG. 3. The resulting limitations to his powers. And 4. The game being played by a proxy. The composer has informed me of 2 major points. That he plans to destroy the UG, but also that his final decision will hinge on the outcome of his game with the conductor. A provisional rule for this game requires the composer to vacate the underground. It is unprecedented for the composer to be absent during a game. I cannot predict what effect it may have. Furthermore, the composer must lower the frequency of his vibe to travel from the UG to the RG, inevitably curtailing his abilities. This makes investigating the conductor and strategy incredibly difficult, as the composer is still the only one who knows who and what I am. It means lingering the UG to author reports carries a lethal risk. The greatest randomizer in the current game is the use of a hand-picked proxy to compete against the conductor in the composer's stead. No information on this person exists at present. While the situation seems dire, I believe the key to getting ahead of all this is at hand. You see, time always builds upon the past. I have already located our key. It is a pin request from the conductor. Normally, the psych manifestations of pins are determined by one's imagination. Thus, by analyzing the pin, the user's imagination, or rather their true intentions, are revealed. Unfortunately, this order came from the composer and never came into contact with the conductor. Thus, I could not use it to determine the nature of his imagination. I too have lowered my vibe to tune into the UG, limiting my abilities. However, at this stage, realizing that this pin holds the key is sufficient. The possibility of forestalling the plans for the UG's destruction remains. Alright, what about these ones? Oh, it's one report per day. For some reason, I was thinking for every star you get a report. As the game was set to end, I felt an intense burst of soul, and at its source I found the composer's hand-picked proxy, one Neku Sakuraba. Let it be noted that once danger was past, the soul he expelled rapidly tapered off. I shall define the soul as it exists in the UG later. For now, let it suffice to say it is the energy he bears within him. His unstable soul is the result of a rift between his body and emotional mind. This discord can be traced to a few causes. 1. His dense and all-inclusive soul composition. 2. Emotional confusion, inhibiting the unity of his emotional self and physical body. And 3. The exacerbation of that confusion by memory loss due to his entry fee. However, anyone possessing such diverse soul can become a formidable wielder of imagination. The composer was right to choose this boy. Shibuya's fate may rest on how well he manages to stabilize his soul. To measure his ability, I gave him a harmonizer pin. It can only be used when he cooperates with his partner. Synchronizing with another hinges on his ability to first stabilize his own soul. Thus, successful use of the pin would indicate that he has made progress on that front. The further he is able to push his and his partner's psych resonance through fusion, the greater his own internal stability will have become. The progress of his soul merits closer observation henceforth. Allow me to redefine the composer's role. As I continue to observe the game's progress, I have a clear view of the enormous effect of the composer's absence. A clear definition of his duties are key to understanding the extent of this disruption. The composer holds absolute authority over the underground. By authority, I mean the right to determine rules. He is the only one who can change the composition of the UG and sole creator of the Shibuya. The underground Shibuya is created and organized by the composer's rules, which pit players against Reapers in a struggle for survival. A new composer only arises when the previous one is defeated. The victor takes the victim's place. At this juncture, the new composer rewrites the rules of UG Shibuya. However, there is no composer at all. There being no composer at all is a different situation. It means the rules that make up the UG are invalid. In other words, without a composer, the underground collapses. However, the composer's absence is still a secret. At present, only 3 people know: the composer himself, his opponent, the conductor, and the producer, me. So we haven't heard about the producer until this point. This is the first time we're hearing exactly who this person is. The producer's role is that of a guardian over the game. For observation purposes, he must sometimes descend from the higher plane to the underground. The higher plane I don't even believe was a concept we heard about in the main game. While the producer is natively an entity from the higher plane, he can adjust the frequency of his vibe to visit the UG and lower planes. Think of a radio. Going from station A to station UG simply requires tuning into a different frequency. The producer has the power to contact any and all beings in the underground. However, he is strictly prohibited from revealing his identity in the UG. His existence endangers the stability of the rules and balance of the UG and RG. Thus, the producer's identity must stay a secret from Reapers and players, not to mention those in the RG. He may freely contact only one person as the producer, and that is the composer. I'm gonna get some water, because it's gonna be a long, long boy, so BRB. Secret Report 4. The UG exists as a separate plane where the composer can judge the worth of men. Within it are reapers and human players. It is infeasible for the composer to judge all of humanity by itself, so a filtering system utilizing the reapers was created. The Reapers game. Reapers act as a test, weeding out unfit players. Upon becoming a Reaper, one's physical body changes, gaining incredible strength and an extended lifespan. As Reaper and player alike progress through the game, engaging in imagination-driven combat, their soul is refined. Soul is an abstract matter revealed through our research into life and death. Excuse me. And a component in the makeup of the atmosphere, humans, will, thought, all phenomena. As Reapers execute the game, they undergo a process of evolution, from grunts to officers to the composer. Interesting. However, Reapers that follow the ideal route are rare, and most are erased by players. Reaper or player, those erased within the game disperse the mind and spirit housed within their flesh in the form of soul. Thus, they are erased only from visible existence. Their soul persists in the UG until gathered and tied together according to a new code. This new code is essentially imagination. Given sufficient imagination, any form is possible, be it a pen or a Reaper. Variations in this code cause the soul to manifest in different forms. In other words, humans, Reapers, and Noise are all entities formed of soul. The only difference is their code. And what are Noise? Entities without conscious will, only the drive to multiply. Thus, they constantly thirst for soul, attacking players and possessing humans in the real ground. Soul consumed by Noise is destroyed, even if the Noise is erased. Thus, possessed humans often exhibit a rush of euphoria immediately after the Noise is removed. Though untested, the same would likely hold if it were a player or Reaper possessed. Oh, we're gonna have 21 of these. No, 22 because of the another day. The real ground and underground are planes of existence. Our planes exist as well, the one inhabited solely by Noise, for example, or our customary plane. The planes are stacked in parallel, though each exists at a different frequency vibe in tune with its inhabitants. Observing a lower plane from a higher plane is simple. Actual transplanar contact, while possible, is highly complex. The vibes of adjacent planes are closer, making passage between them comparatively easier. More distant planes show greater differences in vibe frequencies, thus communion becomes more difficult. The UG that exists just above the RG exists just above the RG, allowing those in the UG to observe the RG, but not vice versa. Noise exists on a special plane that straddles both the RG and the UG, enabling their interference in the affairs of both. When players come into contact with Noise, they are drawn into the Noise plane. In other words, players are forcibly tuned into the Noise plane. Conversely, there exists an even higher plane than the RG and the UG. That is where I am from, the plane of the angels. As in the RG and the UG, angels have created a web of social schema to guide their activities. The role of the producer is just one cog in the angel machine. Angel vibes are extremely high frequency. Not even the composer can catch them all. In actuality, he can pick up only that of the producer. As you can see, interplanar contact is beset by difficulty, but certain modes do exist for its realization. One is the modulator decal. Within its area of effect, players from the UG can manifest visibly in the RG and communicate with others there. Reapers and the composer can tune down their vibes at will. Near these decals, however, even their vibes will be forcibly adjusted to the lower frequency. Another mode, imprinting, requires no physical manifestation in the RG. Imprintees experience the conferred thoughts as bursts of inspiration. The reliability of these communiques thus depends on the person receiving it. For example, successful communication with preoccupied people is unlikely. Furthermore, recipient information of said inspiration colors the message, making imprinting unreliable at best. Reaper Creeper was created as a mode of popular communication between the planes. Modulating paralogos printed on the paper allow for limited UG interaction with real ground objects. As those in the UG are unaware of players, they perceive the illusion of a coin moving by itself. I'm gonna have to take a bunch of sips. I receive periodic communication from the composer. While we maintain contact, I am prohibited from providing him with information for risk of unbalancing the game. I'm permitted only to respond to his commissions for certain items, and even then I am only able to create and deliver said items. The composer has requested increased phone functionality for use in the next game. Today, the proxy's partner, one Shiki Misaki, freed herself from her defining value, envy. With this, the composer is convinced of the proxy's victory on the 7th day. His confidence arises because the proxy's intervention was indispensable in causing his partner's growth. It signals the proxy's departure from his obsessive self-actualization loop. Previously, even the composer was unsure of his proxy's capacity for growth. Normally, the composer possesses a certain degree of clairvoyant foresight. His current tuned-down state, however, limits his abilities, clouding his supertemporal vision. Man, that's a word. Though able to observe the UG from the real ground, he is otherwise saddled with limitations. For one, his outward appearance. He looks younger than he would at full vibe frequency within the UG. Fortunately, this prevents the Reapers from recognizing him as the composer. To begin with, the composer contacts the Reaper only through the conductor, so most are unaware of what he looks like. Additionally, as the being of the underground with the highest vibe, some lesser Reapers are incapable of perceiving him. The effects of downtuning occur because the composer's vibe and RG's frequency are substantially different. For Reapers, the downtuning necessary to exist in the RG is significantly less, and thus affects less prominent changes. I'm not gonna make it. That said, it depends on the Reaper. At any rate, this effect is minimal, making Reapers much more frequent visitors to the real ground. Provided they complete their duties, Reapers may do as they wish in the RG within certain accepted boundaries. As the composer predicted, the proxy has won the game. So what happens to those who survive the week? Those whose imagination is less outstanding are broken down into soul, while those with excellent imagination become Reapers. The most talented of these may travel to the next plane inhabited by us angels. Diligent Reapers too may pass through through the office of composer to ascend to the plane of angels. Hold on, I'm gonna try to decipher this a little bit. So it's not necessarily that there can only be one winner. Anybody whose imagination is noteworthy become Reapers. That's interesting. Or they just ascend. So I'm wondering if the meeting at the end of the game is in the higher plane. And the composer, I guess the composer is on a higher wavelength, or a higher vibe. The other ones, that would make sense. It's very well thought out, but like, ooh, it's a lot to learn all at once. Now, a what if? This may sound odd, but there may also be one may also choose to be reincarnated. Okay, so just super disregard what I just said. Well, the word reincarnation is not quite accurate, for the humans of the UG are not quite truly dead. They merely possess a different soul code and have been tuned into a different plane. We angels do not consider a loss if a talented player elects to return to the real ground, as their superior imagination will inspire other humans. Upon returning to life, the exceptional player's creative abilities soon make their mark upon society. His art, music, and other output becomes part of culture, spreading and persisting through time, refining people's imaginations even without personal contact with the player. Certainly this requires time, but no one has ever accused angels of being in a hurry. The composer's absence during this particular game, however, means that reincarnation is not an option. Only the composer possesses this level of imagination necessary to reincarnate. It is beyond the conductor's means. The conductor continues to act as if the composer were president, but this farce can only continue for so long. I will be watching with great curiosity to see how the conductor responds once his ruse unravels. As I was busy writing reports, the boy in my custody, Beat, went missing. Beat had expressed curiosity in how noise was created. Perhaps he plans to ask a Reaper, but even without specific instruction from then, he has the ability now. I gave him a pen filled with special imagination required to create noise and imprinted him with instructions for its use. This does not qualify as an interference with the game. The information I gave him will have no impact on the game's results. It is merely a token of my esteem for his unflinching passion towards what he holds dear. Whether he uses this power and how is completely up to him. So I think at this point it kind of becomes clear that it's probably Hanekoma writing this, because Hanekoma was the one who was sheltering Beat in the meantime. So unless this is the character that we haven't met yet, which I doubt it. We'll take another break. BRB. So my jaw's starting to get tired, so I enlisted the help of my beautiful wife.
Hello.
She's sick.
Hello.
I didn't really think this one through, but that's fine.
That's alright. What am I supposed to read?
You're supposed to read this.
As predicted by the composer, his proxy has entered the game a second time.
Okay,
a second time!
I'll fill you in just a little bit since you're kind of jumping in here. So, what I can assume is Hanekoma is writing a report on his,
That's the snake guy. He turns into a snake. Right?
No, Hanekoma is the guy who runs the cafe.
Oh. You don't hear his full name very often.
No, yeah. But...
Where's Hanekoma? I'm thinking of something else.
You're thinking of Bakemono?
Don't...
It's fine.
Don't let me derail your stream.
Oh no, don't worry. I'm the only one watching it, so it's fine. So... Because this particular game, with the composer trying to decide the fate of the of Shibuya, Hanekoma, I assume, is kind of writing a report to look over the game. So the important terms to know are. Vibe is one he uses quite often, and it's not as dirty as you might expect. So,
Cat does have some controversial imagery.
Dang. So, you know how the players in the underground can see people in the real ground?
Yes.
So, there's a plane higher even than the real ground, which is the higher plane, I think is what he said.
Okay.
And that is the realm of angels.
Okay.
So he is an angel. He is actually the, what did he call it? Whoever's writing this has another musical name. Producer, that's what he's called. So, we've got the producer who looks over the composer, and the composer looks over the conductor.
Who's the conductor?
The conductor is the person running each game. So the big guy.
Zeta Slow.
Yeah, Zeta Slow guy.
I hate him.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it's a really good podcast. So, people in the higher planes are able to, advanced people are able to lower their vibe, their frequency, in order to tune into the lower planes. And I'm trying to think, oh yeah, and so the ability that we have and some of the other people who can use psychs have is imagination.
I did hear you saying that a lot.
Imagination, yeah, so imagination is the
cryptocurrency.
Yeah, the crypto is the Bitcoin of this world. Imagination is what allows us to be able to use all our psychs when not everybody else can.
I see.
So people with higher... And imagination is control over the soul.
Okay.
And people with good imagination, soul control, have the ability to become reapers. People with better control have the ability to ascend to the higher plane. And there are some people who can choose to reincarnate once per game. And that is a power only the composer has. That's power too high for the conductor. So even if, like, Shiki hadn't been taken as his price, she wouldn't have been able to reincarnate. Because the composer wasn't there. I think that is all that we're at currently.
I don't know. Let's start this one over. As predicted by the composer, his proxy has entered the game a second time. The proxy has proven his aptitude and will be joined in the next game by the composer himself as his new partner. There are 3 reasons behind the composer's choice of actions: to ascertain the conductor's strategy, to educate his proxy, and to protect him. With his return to the UG, the limits of the composer's ability will be relaxed. However, using his abilities could reveal his identity. As such, he will need to continue to limit himself for a while longer. This presents a certain set of risks. The greatest risk, however, lies with the composer joining the proxy for this game. The composer's presence, his tremendously high vibe...
Don't worry about it.
The composer's presence, his tremendously high vibe, will place a great deal of physical and psychological strain on the proxy. Furthermore, the proxy's victory in the previous game has won him back his memory. The self-actualization loop binding the proxy is thus stronger than ever, more deeply ensconced even than the envy cleared from Shiki in the previous game. There is a possibility of the proxy's soul destabilizing, negating its progress during the previous game. Slight problems also persist with the proxy's personality. Neku's a piece of shit. How long will the proxy be able to bear being side by side with the composer? Okay, so you explained almost everything, but you didn't explain what it means that Neku is the proxy. So, why does the composer need a proxy?
So, because it would be super unfair if the composer was the one facing off against the conductor. Joshua had to choose someone to play the game for him.
Right. And
the person he chose was Neku. So that's why he went into the real ground and killed Neku.
Yeah, yeah. What is the conductor? Okay. You'll have to fill in all the details afterwards. We'll just continue for now.
No, it's fine. Okay, so I think we just read that one. Yeah, it was there.
Today, an alert was handed down, the discovery of a fallen angel. A fallen angel is one who has broken the angel's code, a criminal. Their crime, revealing the secrets of taboo noise refinery to the game master, Minamimoto.
That was the Zeta Slow guy.
Okay. Minamimoto knows the composer's RG identity, secret even to the conductor, and has chased him to the real ground. The fallen angel may also have supplied him with this information. Minamimoto lusts to take the composer's place, and his potential to do so comes second only to that of the conductor. Despite being a complete outsider in the wager between the composer and conductor, he stands to hinder the composer greatly. It is entirely possible that Minamimoto may rise to the office of conductor before his wager has been decided. All eyes from the higher plane are on this game for the future of Shibuya. Should its results be invalidated by outside interference, the angel's disappointment would be vast. So, what is the fallen angel's goal? Dominion over the underground? Retribution against the angels? Whatever the case, we must carefully monitor Minamimoto's actions and stay vigilant against the fallen angel.
Right.
How many of these are there?
There is a total of 22. Do you want to, like, switch doing every other one?
How soon did your jaw get tired that you had to call in the sickie?
After 7.
Yeah. I was finally able to hand over the phone tracking application to the composer requested sometime back.
Which was the time. Oh yeah,
I informed the composer it was ready 3 days ago, but they apparently had no time to come pick it up. It just shows how carefully the proxy is planning each move. The application detects the conductor's imagination. With it, one can walk through Shibuya and piece together the conductor's strategy. At this point, I cannot even fathom the conductor's plan. I will have to rely on the information gathered by the composer. While I wait for his findings, I will work on the composer's next order, a second revision to the phone's functionality. Today also marks my first contact with the proxy since he formed a pact with the composer. He appears considerably wary of his partner at present time.
Just one other thing I remembered. Noise are beings made of soul that are just hungry for more soul.
I see.
So they're made of dead humans.
You gotta click the next button.
Yeah.
As expected, the psychological strain is severe, so severe in fact that most players would be unable to continue. Right now, the only thing keeping the proxy in the game is his entry fee. At least his dangerously strained state of mind is acting to heighten his soul. I saw no sign of relapse or destabilization. Rather, the return of his memory seems to have yielded only positives. I look forward to watching the proxy's continued growth. The composer's reports indicate rough going in his investigation. I suspect the limits upon his abilities. Meanwhile, Minamimoto has not issued any missions. The Reaper elites must be alarmed as well. Perhaps this is more of the fallen angel's influence. As I've stated, Minamimoto is suspected of a liaison with the fallen angel. Felix. That's an in-joke. Nobody's gonna get that.
Don't worry about it. It's fine.
The fallen angel may have chosen Minamimoto for a few reasons. First, none desired the composer's office more. Minamimoto's obsession was great enough to compel him to pursue the composer into the real ground. Unlike simple reapers, however, the composer's powers are not lost in the real ground. I can just imagine the shock dawning on Minamimoto's face as I write this. Yes, the composer must down-tune to the frequency of the real ground, limiting his powers. However, Minamimoto is in the same boat. As a result, the difference in their abilities remained unchanged. Thus, the assassination attempt failed. While Minamimoto's efforts were fruitless, they served as ample proof of his convictions. The second reason the fallen angel may have targeted him is his lack of loyalty to the Reaper's organization and his preference for solo action. His distaste for cooperation meant little chance of him revealing the fallen angel's presence. The third reason is his consistently unconventional aesthetic. His bizarre actions regularly cause confusion among those around him. Even if the fallen angel were to urge him to do something out of the ordinary, that would be ordinary for him. No one would suspect a thing. This is why he's an ideal target for a fallen angel to work his agenda without raising suspicion. At least it seems a logical conclusion. The question now is, why has Minamimoto abandoned the game, and what is he doing? I suspect that his only current objective is to take out the composer. If so, he is likely preparing for the 7th day and his opportunity to confront the players. Just what did the fallen angel tell Minamimoto? Perhaps no one will ever know. Do we have any ideas who that is?
Not that I've known. Like, we know Minamimoto ended up using the, taboo noise. Mm-hmm. But I don't think we ever had any indication of who told him.
Okay.
I just kind of assumed that it's something that everybody knew about, but...
It's taboo.
Yeah, so...
The proxy feels an affection for the art of the designer Cat, myself. Yeah, you were right. As he was picked by the composer, this is hardly coincidence. It was an inevitability. Cat's creative works are embedded with command codes. His art acts as a medium for mass imprinting. Oh, that's cool. The imprinting players use works only on an individual basis. However, through art, one can affect anyone who comes into contact with the work. I imbue my art with 2 command codes. The first is, enjoy the moment more. This strengthens the imagination. The proxy received this signal loud and clear, though past trauma precluded him from responding accordingly. The second code, gather, calls to those with strong imaginations. Hence the inevitability. Why wouldn't the composer find his worthy proxy standing in front of my graffiti? A single reason exists for rigging my art in this way. The creation of the future requires imagination. My art is widely accepted in Shibuya. This proves that those with imagination sufficient to create the future are gathering in the area. Shibuya's future is looking very bright. That's really cool. They could have done that really dumb, having command codes in the art, but they did it really good. They did a good job.
And, like, it explains, like, why Neku was chosen, even if he didn't necessarily know a whole lot about him. Mm-hmm. He was standing in front of the mural.
So he must be affected by it.
Yeah. Okay. Are you good enough for 2 more before I do the...
I think so. Yeah. I'm not that sick. I just sound funny. I have finished revision 2 of the phone tracking app, which allows it to detect the Shibuya River. The composer aims to use this device to convey the river's location to the proxy. Before passing that knowledge along, the composer needed to understand the conductor's plan. As of yesterday, he felt confident in his hypothesis. The composer had encountered red skull pins everywhere the detector had led, the same pins I created at the conductor's behest on the first day. As I suspected, they form a prime piece of his strategy. The imagination he has filled those pins with is the same as that in the player pin, imprinting. They are set apart, however, by a single major difference.
This is like reading the Grimoire Nier. It's
yeah!
Like a bunch of extra stuff that you're like, oh!
Red skull pins are made to imprint targets with the conductor's will. Anyone wearing the red skull pin is dominated by the conductor's mind.
Everyone will be my sub.
The further the pins spread, the more people he controls. However, the red skull pins have penetrated less than half of Shibuya's real ground population in the last 2 weeks. At this rate, the conductor's strategy will end in failure. How does he intend to penetrate the rest of Shibuya? I will be monitoring his actions
very closely. Very closely. Believe you me.
You may not have even, like, you probably, if you were alone, you would have tried to gloss over these things, but you can't. Not that I'm here. Now that I'm here.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Probably peek in the microphone. The final day's mission came from the conductor, eliminate Minamimoto. Unexpected as it was, tensions ran high, but the composer's quick thinking saved the day. In the end, all went according to Keikaku, and he successfully guided the proxy onto the next game. His solution entailed first defeating Minamimoto, thereby ensuring the proxy's victory. Secondly, the composer pretended to be erased by Minamimoto while shielding the proxy. Give him feelings. To accomplish this, he fled to a parallel world just before Minamimoto's final attack connected.
String drop distance.
Nice. The proxy survived the game alone, but was again unable to elect reincarnation due to the composer's illegal participation in the game. For better or for worse, the game between the composer and the conductor concludes in 1 week's time. The conductor's strategy may end in failure, but we will see. I need to keep a close eye on his future actions. All I can do is wait for the composer to inform me of which parallel world he escaped to.
I've begun patrolling Shibuya in pursuit of the conductor's strategy. While in Utagawa, I spotted Minamimoto's taboo noise refinery sigil. Several types of these sigils exist in various categories, which we of the higher plane have classified. Not all of them, however, will work in the UG. Its vibe frequency is simply too low for them to translate properly. The sigil Minamimoto drew was one of these undecodable types. Was that a mistake on the Fallen Angel's part, or was it a transcription error by Minamimoto? Either way, with that design, he stands little chance of reviving himself. However, Minamimoto is driven, and his imagination strong, perhaps strong enough to make a taboo sigil work even in the underground. If so, the specific result would be impossible to predict. Anything that might interfere with the composer and conductor's wager is to be avoided at any cost. I will personally neutralize Minamimoto's sigil. Angels may not interfere in the Reaper's game, but this contest will decide Shibuya's future. The higher plane cannot idly stand by. Meanwhile, the conductor has dealt a preemptive blow. The starting player count in this final game is 1. I cannot be certain whether the conductor knows that Neku Sakuraba is the proxy, but the severe restriction in the number of entrants ensures player erasure. His flagrant abuse of his privilege, he has eliminated the threat of the proxy. With the composer in a parallel world, the proxy's position is still perilous. Still, as a producer, I am bound by the rules. I can offer him no help. All I can do is guide him to the Shibuya River. Call it luck or fate, even by himself the proxy has managed to form a pact. He's partnered to beat, now a Reaper who is himself fixated on reaching the river. As such, guiding the proxy will require little work on my part. Still, I haven't uncovered the conductor's strategy for this final week. I can't afford to relax quite yet. The conductor has used Beat's betrayal as an excuse to issue an emergency call. With it, the composer's rules for the UG are essentially suspended. After weeks of concealing the composer's absence, the conductor finally has absolute authority. At the same time, he's made Red Skull pens mandatory for all Reapers. Now, most of Shibuya has a Red Skull pen. The stage has been set for the conductor's counterattack. Furthermore, he's cordoned off each area of the UG with walls.
Sectioned off.
Okay. I could leave the UG, elevate my vibe, and pass through them quite easily, but to what end? I'm bound to the UG, and thus my hands are tied. Tied with the vibe. Can't use the vibe when your hands are tied. I cannot reach the composer, nor do I know which parallel world he's hiding. For now, all I can do is use my second sight to watch the game's progress. Rather than head to the Shibuya River, the proxy has begun wandering the streets, apparently in pursuit of the Game Master. Konishi, this round's Game Master, seems mainly interested in saving her own skin. She appears a loyal follower of the conductor, but the appearance... Oh yeah, Game Master, I forgot about. So, I was wrong earlier. The, Minamimoto. The guy who's in the white space at the end of each game is the conductor. The Game Master are the people like Zetaslow.
So was I right about the snake guy?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. I did call...
You thought he was Tanakoma.
Yeah, I thought it was Tanakoma. I'm glad it was Big Kitty Kitty, but...
Okay. Appearance of a promising candidate for her composer would quickly change her tune. At this point, she has been working hard to recover the conductor's trust after her slip the first day. She has issued a single six-day mission, one that exploits Beat's greatest weakness, rhyme. Her plan is to panic the pair into committing some fatal error while keeping watch on her from her front row seat within Beat's shadow. This serves to both restore her standing with the conductor and to avenge the blow to her pride. Beat's greatest desire is to bring her back to life. Even if revived, though, Rhyme still lost the game. Her entry fee is non-refundable. I do not know what the girl's entry fee was, but a life without it, the thing she had held most dear, would be filled with grief and hardship. But is the void in one's heart caused by loss never filled? I think it can be. It may take time, but something else will come along to fill that empty space, so long as one enjoys the present. In other words,
one enjoys the vibe.
yeah. Don't talk about rhyme like that, please. In other words, we needn't mourn the loss of that which we hold dear. If only more people realize this. The composer did not impose the entry fee upon players to cause them anguish. In experiencing life without the thing one most values, players are forced to re-examine just how crucial those things really are. The hope is by the close of the game, players will be able to take a hard look at themselves and be able to take on the future with a new outlook on life. The entry fee exists to force the players to see the truth about themselves. It is a test posed by the composer to spur players' self-enlightenment. It's like Lent. It's like Reaper Lent.
Yeah! Oh, is it my turn now?
No, it's just taking a break.
Alright, drank.
Wake up. Alright. Get up. Alright. You can do another couple after this one.
Okay.
The conductor has begun his work with the Red Skull pens. By bringing Shibuya's collective consciousness in line with his own, he hopes to accomplish his goal of rebuilding Shibuya. The conductor's zeal is unparalleled among Reapers. His strong presence was central to the composer's ability to govern Shibuya, an area considered exceptionally chaotic even among the higher planes denizens. That the composer would consent to base his plans for Shibuya's destructions on a game with the conductor shows his unwavering trust in his subordinate. The unification of minds is the natural state of the higher plane. Given time, it might happen throughout the underground. The current UG, however, is not ready. People have erected walls around their minds, dividing their collective consciousness. They coexist independently, like the cells that make up a single human being. While the player pen holds imagination strong enough to pass through those walls, the pen user's own barriers are strengthened. Were that not the case, the incoming flood of other minds could erode the user's own consciousness. Consequently, those who hold player pens cannot be scanned. Why does individuality exist? This is something the conductor has overlooked. Everything that exists has a purpose. Obsessed with his egoistic protection of Shibuya, the conductor has blinded himself to the facts. With his blind ego funneled into everyone in Shibuya, the city's destruction is not far off. So long as there is individuality, it is impossible to fully eliminate loneliness. There is no such thing as a shared reality. Even people who believe they share a connection are not truly connected. They must actually make contact, clash, and learn about others through their foreignness. Differences should not be denied, they should be accepted and enjoyed. People must realize this if Shibuya is to be spared from destruction.
I've detected an energy spike here. It would seem Minamimoto has returned. I judged his revival unlikely after spotting his taboo refinery sigil on the first day, but it appears Minamimoto's imagination is much stronger than I'd anticipated. The fallen angel must have completed the array for him. A troubling thought. Who can say what impact this will have on the composer and conductor's game? Minamimoto has one goal now, to find the composer and erase him. Did you skip one?
No. Yeah.
Minamimoto has been tracking the composer's movements. He must know that the composer frequents this cafe. Chances are he'll pay a visit himself. As for the composer, I have yet to receive any word from him. Could the composer's abilities now be so limited that he cannot even reach me? I may need to contact myself in the parallel worlds to help search for him.
I may have to get an orgy started. I mean, a search party. Same thing, really.
Let me expand the concept of parallel worlds. In life, reality is made up of a continuous string of choices, and the consequences of those choices. Every time a choice is made, the option not selected branches off and exists as its own reality.
That's a lot.
A parallel
That's
world.
a lot.
That's a lot. Countless numbers of such parallel worlds exist within a single plane, be it the RG or the UG, and travel among them is possible through the use of imagination. Theoretically, anyone can jump to a parallel world, but penetrating the membrane between worlds requires up-tuning one's funk. This limits the pool of beings able to make the trip. Additionally, stress caused by breaking through the barrier can pull down the traveler's base vibe. If the vibe dips, the frequency may be too low to pass through the barrier. In worst cases, it may render the traveler unable to return to his or her own original world. There's too much vibe! Conversely, angels are beings meant to jump between worlds. Thus, such travel is a simple matter. Angels have a higher base vibe than the frequency of the underground, allowing them to leave the UG, then tune their vibe to that of the desired parallel world. I have located the composer. He is in a world where Tin Pin Slammer, of all things, reigns supreme. I am off to retrieve him. Minamimoto has definitely targeted this shop, and not with friendly intentions. It is essential that I leave here immediately. I will leave the key pin to the Shibuya River for the proxy. He should know what to do from there. Shibuya's fate has been placed in the proxy's hands. It is no longer safe for me in the UG. My work here is done. All that remains is to retrieve the composer from the parallel world and bring him back to this one.
So I think this Another Day that we've been playing is the reason it exists is because he was looking for...
The composer defeated the conductor. The composer defeated the proxy. However, he has stayed his decision to destroy Shibuya. It seems the course of the game has brought a change of heart in the composer. Yes, Shibuya persists, but is no longer the same city as it was a month ago. In its stead, a completely new Shibuya has arisen. As the composer has changed, so Shibuya itself has metamorphosed. 1 month previous, Shibuya was plagued with problems, dire enough to motivate the composer to destroy it. Today, Shibuya has shifted into what we angels believe to be the optimal parallel world.
Thanks, gay sassy Jesus.
To complete this puzzle, all of the pieces had to be set in their proper place. If even one was incorrect, the entire picture would be ruined. Rhyme's selfless display of kindness, Higashizawa's bottomless career ambitions, Konishi's heart of stone, the conductor's wild actions born from overflowing love. All these were necessary if Shibuya was to be born anew. There are no extra pieces, no irrelevant components. Accept society as an ever-changing thing, and your mind will also become flexible. Individuals will link together and enact change throughout society. This is the only way to ride high upon the waves of the ever-changing world. It was no coincidence the composer opted for this simple method in the end. My gratitude goes out to you all. I greatly look forward to what this new Shibuya will become. Thank you. I entered the parallel world and contracted
AIDS from the composer.
Unexpectedly, he seemed to be enjoying his stay. In fact, the reason he had not contacted me was because he was too busy playing Tin Pin.
Nice.
I made him promise to meet me at the Shibuya River. In the meantime, I need to hide out so as not to meet myself in this world. Usually, angels existing as multiple entities within the same world could pose a little problem. However, mine is somewhat a special case. You see, I am the who taught Minamimoto how to refine taboo noise. Minamimoto owes his successful rebirth to the corrections I made to the flawed taboo refinery sigil. I must hide in Pork City for fear my alternate self in this world may report me on sight.
Damn.
Nice. Oh, no, you're right. It was all red. I missed it.
I know. I feel you.
Minamimoto is my backup plan to ensure Shibuya's survival. If the composer does not change his mind, this unique city will be lost. I must prevent that at any cost. Therefore, I deemed it necessary to cross the boundaries angels usually respect. I happily accept the Sigma of Fallen Angel for this cause. Well then, it's about time to meet him. After calling the composer and hearing his cheery voice, I feel as if my shadow falls even darker. But darkness has always been husband to the light. I sincerely hope that someday my sins will be judged justified. I still hold faith that they will, now and forevermore. One last thing, to the composer's pick, Neku Sakuraba. The future you must choose is within you. I'm glad to have had the chance to meet you.
Hell yeah.
Nice. Okay, so, I appreciate, it makes sense that Mr. H is the fallen angel. His reasoning is fine. Why do we have journal entries of him going, why is the taboo sigil wrong? You know why. Nerd.
I guess to cover himself up.
Yeah, but who else is reading his stupid diary?
Me.
Me. Neku Sakuraba.
It's me. Yeah, I think that's probably it. In the meantime, I will, end up getting the, extra drops from, Taboo, or not Taboo, but Noise, Hanekoma. And I'll get the last item. But other than that, I don't think there was any other weird ending things. I'm pretty sure this is the last thing. Let me look real fast, just double check, because let me just make sure there's no, like, extra ending.
I don't know, I think we've gotten... I say we. You.
There's a bonus scene you can unlock, but I think that is just the, that is either them meeting in the real world again, or it is, the picture of the girl who we're not even gonna know about until
this year!
Until, yeah.
Ah!
Ah!
Yeah, I think that's it. I think the final scene is...
Another 7 days.
Yeah.
Let me just... Another day. Ping the reports. Alright, I believe that's it. Yep. So, as far as I can tell, I have done my duty here. It took me fucking long enough, but... Damn. Yeah. Thank you for, watching my streams. This was very fun. I'm glad I chose to do this. And soon it's gonna be time to 100%
The game again!
final remix
Woo!
with the extra epilogue. Alright. Fuck, yeah. I'm out this bitch.